Welcome to The Art of Adventure. This is the story of the nearly deadly Snowstorm. So I'll set the scene for you. It's dusk, and I'm clawing my way out of the snow. I've just fallen off of the trail into neck-deep snow, and I'm using my skis to make stairs so that I can climb out of this pit of snow back onto this narrow trail, and I can hardly see where I'm going because it's winter. It's actually Valentine's Day, and the sun is setting. And this is my first Valentine's Day with my ex. And we're in Montana. And so as every good survival tale, it starts with a comedy of small errors. And we had decided to join our friends on a weekend in this, it's a fire tower. Basically, you can rent these Forest Service fire towers, and they're often right at the top of a mountain. And to get to this fire tower, you can either ski the long way around, which is the easy way, the not too steep way, which is about 12 or 15 miles, as I recall. Or you can go straight up the side of the mountain, and you need ski mountaineering equipment to be able to do that. So we only had touring skis, so we were going to go the long way, and this other couple had ski mountaineering gear, and they were going to go straight up and meet us there. And it was likely that it was going to take them less time than it was going to take us. So we drove 2 hours out of Bozeman, Montana to get to the starting point for this trail. And when we got to the trail, we realized that the boots we had rented for my ex, she had gotten 2 left boots. And this was a choice. We could either turn around and try to go back to the rental shop and get new boots and spend another 4 hours driving. By then it would have been pretty much dark and we wouldn't have made it to the fire tower. So basically either cancel the trip or decide to ski in 2 left boots. All right, so we get started skiing in 2 left boots. And just before we had gotten out of cell service, my friend said, "Hey, do you guys have a map of this trail that you're going to be following?" And we didn't. And because we weren't going to be with them and they had a map, we needed to quickly download an app. And I can't remember which one it was. It might have been All Trails. But we downloaded this app, and right as we were leaving cell service, we got the trail map for this fire tower trail. Okay, that's amazing. We've got it on one of the phones, right? So we're limited by the length of the battery in the phone. So keep that in mind. Beautiful sunny day when we get started, but pretty soon a snowstorm rolls in and it starts snowing, and it's kind of warm snow. And so it starts really sticking to the bottom of the ski. So instead of, right, because remember we have 15 miles to cover. And generally, if you're skiing well, cross-country skiing well, you can cover 5 to 8 miles an hour. And it could be just a couple hours before you get to your destination. But when you're going uphill and the snow is sticking to the bottom of your ski, all of a sudden you're snowshoeing with 20 pounds of snow on each foot. And we went from 3 miles an hour to half a mile an hour, and we were going so slow. And because it's winter in Montana, the sun was setting about 5 o'clock, I believe. And we had been at it for, let's say, 6 hours at that point, and the sun is starting to set. And luckily, we've still got the map, right? We're looking at the phone, but the battery is starting to die and don't have any spare batteries. That was when I learned to bring spare batteries and, of course, paper maps and headlamps. I'm not sure we had headlamps. So all these little dumb errors, right? That you forget a bunch of little things like a map and a headlamp and extra food and water and all these things. It sounds like I'm not a very experienced adventurer at this point. So we get to a place where we're about to do the last 5 miles essentially of the journey, and we're up on this mountain ridge, and it's pitch black because the sun has already set, and we can't figure out if it's faster to have the skis on or to try to tramp, post hole our way through the snow. And the trail has been ridden over by snowmobiles because some other people, I think, have chosen to drive on snow machines up to this fire tower. So there's a thin, 1 meter wide track that you can ski on. But if you get off the track, the snow is 6 to 10 feet deep. So you're going to fall head deep into the snow if you veer, 2 feet to the left or the right. And this is what keeps happening. It happened 5 or 6 or 7 times where we would fall off into the snow, and it would take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to dig ourselves out of the snow. So we'd go forward 100 feet and then we'd fall. And it was exhausting. I mean, if you've ever dug yourself out of a pit, it is tremendously exhausting. And, at this point we knew, okay, we're a couple miles away from the fire tower, and we can't turn around. It's already dark. We don't have the keys to the car. We have to get to the fire tower. And we were basically out of water. We had maybe 1 energy bar with us. And so it came down to just 1 foot in front of the other. And I would take out the phone and quickly sort of look at the map and try to figure out, because there was a little bit of light. I could kind of see, like, okay, there's a ridge to the, drop off to the left and a drop off to the right. I think we have to stay, between these 2 trees. And so we would move a few hundred feet, trying not to fall off the trail. And the amazing thing was, we weren't fighting. And I think we were both pretty scared. We were wondering, are we going to have to dig a snow cave and spend the night huddled out here? We were inventorying, what clothes do we have? Like, could we survive a night out here? And we said, basically we're just going to keep moving and keep our body heat up. And the fire tower is at the very top of the mountain, so if we keep moving up, then at least we should be inside of it and try to figure out a way to get there. So after maybe 3 hours or so in the dark, it's about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. And we see the light of the fire tower. And it's so tantalizingly close. And we can see our friends. They're out on the balcony, and they have their headlamps out, and they're scanning. They're clearly looking for us, debating, are we going to go search for these yahoos, or are we going to stay safe in the fire tower and be here when they arrive? And so we knew, okay, it's less than a mile away, and it's probably half a mile away. And it took us another, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour to cross that last mile, because we kept losing the trail. We kept getting off into the deep snow, taking off the skis, putting the skis back on. And it became a point where, we were no longer just communicating. We were just keeping each other in sight, keeping each other safe. But we had gone deep into our own psyche. Like, you have to do this. You have to make it to the fire tower. You have to stay warm. That's where the food and water is. Just keep going. And eventually, after, let's say, 10 or 11 hours of getting lost in this snowstorm, we finally made it to the fire tower. And it was comical, how over our heads we had let ourselves get, no pun intended. And, our friends had a beer and a fire waiting for us, and it was amazing. Such a relief. And to look back on it, it's it's such a ridiculous story. We could have been so much better prepared, and yet we survived, and we made it through. And the wind was howling all night, and the storm blew all night, and there was a foot of fresh snow, and we skied down in the morning, and it was a nice ski out. Really, really wild and crazy adventure experience. So let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or Twitter or email if you've ever had a crazy survival story, or if you've ever had what we call type 2 fun, where it wasn't that fun at the time because it was so hard. But looking back, it's a great story, and it was really fun after all. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now it's your turn to go out there and be adventurous.